It appears that Jennifer Hudson may be carrying Common's child. Was she allegedly reject his proposal attempt from the previous year? Would that have caused them to split up? If that's the case, Tiffany Haddish's most recent, perhaps even more, outrageous as she is now thought to have revealed Jin's greatest secret. Additionally, folks speculate about a breakup and a baby because Jennifer and Common have chosen to remain completely silent. The entire situation appears disorganized when traveling, particularly when you recall Common's history of being an overly typical guy who has dated half of Hollywood, yet never stays enough to demonstrate his seriousness. You must deal with all of that.
I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. I was like, oh, okay. Because that's not what you told me, but okay.
Jennifer Hudson's romantic life has just become a circus because of Tiffany Haddish. And according to the internet, she has revealed the single cigarette that Jin has been keeping hidden from everyone. She may, however, be pregnant. You guys have been jetting around everywhere with Common's baby. Additionally, it's crazy since Tiffany's shade has always been a bit more substantial. However, anytime she has discussed Jennifer, or typically fans, hear receipts rather than jokes. Recall when a fan questioned Tiffany about if she ever received the necklace that she passed along from Common. She clapped back, saying she never did because he most likely handed it to her directly, instead to Jennifer Hudson. However, that little incident grew into a tempest, with many people believing that Common was already, while he was still with Tiffany, he was snooping on Jen.
He might be the type of person that never really settles with somebody. Maybe he's like a, he's like a bee going from flower to flower to flower. I don't know.
However, everyone is aware of Common's long number of ex-partners. Additionally, Tiffany has kept a particular kind of resentment toward Jennifer. She is therefore most likely the one laughing the most out of everyone seeing this catastrophe. Loudest at the moment. But let's get back to these pregnancy rumors. The plot becomes more complex at this point. The rumors that Jennifer might be pregnant have been circulated before, during an Essence Christmas advertising shot months ago. Admirers noticed that they believed she had a baby bump. People were persuaded by one particular ensemble, a black form-fitting dress, and flooded the comments section until the video inexplicably vanished. There are those who believe that Essence removed other videos at her request, and that's all it took for the rumors to start spinning, one outlet stated. However, given that Jennifer frequently dons flowy, airy clothing, the rumors about her talk show aren't going away. According to the article, a baby bump that hasn't grown after 8 months is most likely not a baby bump at all. Fans, however, aren't giving up, and Tiffany's most recent remarks merely increased the fuel. Can a woman occasionally have a little food paw? God forbid she put on a few pounds? However, before we discuss Tiffany's most recent shade, let's remember that she actually did date Common. She wasn't just halfway there either. During the pandemic, Tiffany was gushing about quarantining with him, flaunting him on Instagram Lives, and even discussing marriage. However, she received flowers on her birthday instead of a ring, and when he eventually left, he apologized. When it was all over, she acknowledged that he might be like a bee that never settles down, moving from flower to flower.
He might be the type of person that never really settles with somebody. Maybe he's like a, he's like a bee going from flower to flower to flower. I don't know.
And here's the problem though, she was telling the truth. Common has experienced half of Hollywood's female population, and things became serious each and every time he dipped the moment. And let's simply dissect it. He and Erica were together in the early 2000s, his first true love. Badu, he admitted that he was heartbroken when it ended, and that Erica was the one who ended things. She later implied that he had cheated, which is consistent with all of the information we currently have on him. Next were Taraji B. and Serena Williams. Top-tier women, including Henson, Angela Rhee, and even Ava Diver, are all villains. After bagging him and grinning for the cameras, he turned to go. The design was set in stone by the time Tiffany Haddish arrived. She went public, gave her her heart, and even made a joke about wanting him to pop the question with an apartment complex rather than a ring. However, rather than locking it down, Common made the identical make a move. He left after blaming his hectic schedule. They broke up because of something Tiff subsequently claimed wasn't the cause.
Were you angry when you saw his answer?
I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. I was like, oh, okay. Because that's not what you told me, but okay.
Wait, well, what did he tell you?
You know what? That's between us.
Then came Jennifer Hudson, the most recent of many women who believed they could transform him and generally think she might be different, calling him that man of mine and showing him about. The receipts don't lie. Even if he said on the podcast that Chua's one of his biggest blessings, none of the baddest people in Hollywood that he has dated have stayed. Fans had seen the film 100 times before Jennifer Hudson took over because of this. What then led Jennifer to believe she was unique? She WASN single quotes. She was only a step away. Tiffany Shea then made fun of Jin, which is why it pierces deeper. And it was experience, not merely resentment. She is aware of the trend. She experienced it firsthand. Furthermore, her remarks this time don't seem like yet another sour retort. Furthermore, she seemed to know more than she was admitting. It's almost comical, though, because Common has consistently portrayed himself as the best boyfriend in the world, despite Tiffany's constant jabs since their breakup. Common has consistently attempted to portray himself as a woman's ideal partner, almost to the letter, because he boasted about being equally yoked and referred to Jennifer Hudson as one of his biggest blessings in a podcast just last year. He presented their romance as the mature tale of love he had been anticipating during one's life. It sounded to the outside world as though he was prepared to walk her down the aisle the following morning, as if wedding bells were ringing. Fans, however, weren't buying it for some reason. They had every cause to be wary, to be honest. Erykah Badu was once referred to as this man's soulmate, boasted that Angela Ree's influence on the public helped him develop, and gushed about Serena Williams being his rock. If you're Raji P. Henson, please allow me to testify as his ideal woman. Then Tiffany arrived, Haddish, until he packed up his flowers and excuses. She prepared his alleged happy spot. At one time or another, every single lady on the lineup has been his rock, which raises the question of whether they are all his ideal women created to bring him joy. However, it's possible that the true issue is that Common keeps waking up from their nightmares. However, let's focus on the purported turning point in Common and Jennifer Hudson's romantic comedy romance, because the proposed rumors merely made matters worse if they were already precarious, made it worse. Rumor has it that Common wanted to tie Jennifer up with a ring, but after everything she had been through, she wasn't prepared to accept. It was logical. Do you recall Jennifer's almost 10-year engagement to WWE star David Onga? Yes, everyone. She had a son with him, had an unimaginable family tragedy, and then had to deal with a contentious custody dispute in which she accused David of being violent and manipulative. The experience left her scarred and made her tired of jumping into another marriage too soon. News outlets were informed by a friend of hers that she, after their engagement, ended badly. Jennifer insisted that marriage was not in her future and that she would never get married. Jennifer apparently withdrew her response to this proposal. She was aware of his past with women. She was aware of her own past of broken promises and intent. She was undoubtedly aware that she shouldn't risk her money on a man like Common. Here's the catch, though. The main focus has always been Common's ego. Additionally, he polishes his picture of the ideal male in every relationship. After parading Jennifer, to be told no, it would have hurt to be surrounded by his greatest gift. And Tiffany's salty digs were veiled so well because of that sting, because he was deeply hurt by Tiffany's laughter if Jennifer had indeed rejected him. Additionally, when the drama around that proposal lingered in the next big question was, Why are Common and Jennifer keeping quiet about this? Common and Jennifer Hudson have made the same decision thus far. Quiet, no word on whether. The split or pregnancy rumors are real, no denial, no confirmation. And that kind of silence isn't only a tactic used in Hollywood. People talk more when they don't say anything. Additionally, the narrative gains value as more people share it. If Jin ever chooses to share her side of the story, the silence creates. Anticipation increases talk show ratings, and even opens the door for glossy magazine exclusives. Narrative. Here's the issue though. When someone like Tiffany Haddish is involved, silence doesn't work. Even though it might be effective for managing a business, the internet isn't waiting for Jennifer's press release to make a decision. Her shade is now being used as evidence. What is actual? Furthermore, the rumors will alter not only her relationship but also her reputation if Jennifer doesn't intervene quickly. She runs the risk of losing control of her story at this point. On the other hand, as is always the case, the internet took over the plot. Side-by-side photos of Jennifer and Luce's attire abound in TikTok clothes. While some roll their eyes and accuse it of body shaming, others swear they detect a bump. Furthermore, Common is being ridiculed by everyone, including their grandmother, as the man who is incapable of committing it. Someone who was furious with him claimed that because Common usually chooses the shiniest object, men like him act like they are awake but are actually spiritually dead. Another person then echoed that statement by saying that he only has an emotional bond with himself. Additionally, by the fact that he is addicted to the love bombing stage should now be well known. #narcissistic. But the others made the decision to hold these women responsible themselves. Questioning how many women he must encounter before everyone understands that the man is serious. Another notion that has been put up is that he is using Jin to gain influence. Furthermore, he never declared his love for her in any of his interviews. Common just expresses his affection for her. Jin is aware that Common is utilizing her influence. Jennifer Hudson embarrassed herself the entire time by making it known that she was more concerned for him. In any case, neither Jennifer's music nor her talk show is being discussed. It has to do with Tiffany's humor and their shared tragic past. According to someone, J. Hood has to wake up and smell the air, while Tiffany Haddish should concentrate on her mediocre comedy career. Coffee and discover her bliss because Common might not be it, saying Common is just Common. Because it appears that Common will only be there for a little period of time, similar to one he just had one night only. To distribute